from this to this. It's all finished. Highly glossed, epoxy tabletopped, liquid glass, call it what you may, sealed bowl. It's a mulberry timber. You can see the grain, it's just magnificent from both sides. It's a 16-inch bowl, 3 inches deep. It's possibly one of the nicest turned out projects I've done in a while. You can see there is a split all the way through the bowl. It goes both sides, but completely stabilised. This bowl will last forever. I mean, it's completely solid. The epoxy holds its own. Anyway, enough chat from me. Let's just see how it's done. Apologies for the audio there, bit of a loss of video footage. So the bowl blank's been put into centres on the lathe. It is warped because it came from a slab that's been laying around for 2 to 3 years. It's dry wood, dry mulberry wood, but it's still turned pretty well. Using the Hercules scraper to take away most of the material. It's from Hunter Tools. Great tool, this one. It's 1/2-inch thick steel, and it's got a cupped carbide tip. And if you use it as a 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock orientation on the bowls, it can even make a very smooth surface. But I usually mainly for taking out material and the bowl gouge after that. Forming the tenon on the back of the bowl using a carbide diamond tipped tool just to get the edges on a 30-degree angle for the chuck. Using the calipers to measure for the chuck. Now here I'm starting to stabilise that crack that runs through the entire bowl. So aside from having it flying off the lathe, the Starbond CA glue used it throughout this particular project. The walls ended up a little thinner than I liked, especially since there's a crack going from one side of the bowl to the other. So constantly using the CA glue to hold that in a stabilised way, knowing full well at the end of the project the whole thing's going to be covered with epoxy, so it's going to hold together with that material. This is the hollowing out. It's on the truck at the moment. The tail is being held steady, but I'll remove that, as you see, in a little while. I'm not leaving all the footage of hollowing out the bowl. It gets a bit boring, so you'll see it's speeded up in some areas. Mostly the 1/2-inch bowl gouge is used to hollow out the bowl. You see here now, getting to the bottom of the bowl, out comes the CA glue once more. The 1/2-inch bowl gouge was used to make it the final pass, and you really do need a bowl scraper because there's a slight tool mark that was pretty difficult to get out. Here is the bowl being moved over to the epoxy workstation, so I'm mixing up some epoxy here. And the bowl's now being put onto the barbecue rotisserie. So once the epoxy's been mixed, it's spread onto the bowl. As you can see here, just using a nylon 1-inch brush, making sure that the entire surface is covered with the tabletop epoxy, both sides of the bowl of course, and then it's put onto the barbecue rotisserie, which is then spinning around for 24 hours around 8 RPM. So it's not fast, it's just so that there's no runs forming while the bowl's doing its job. Well, there's the Mulberry bowl all epoxied up and finished. I've got some still photos at the end of the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, cheers.
Thank you.